I wanted to cover the Kimmel's continued meltdown because I think that there's a little bit of a story. There's a little bit of a story behind why he's ramping up his attacks on Trump now that Trump has decided, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and release the files. The first and foremost is obviously his show is dying. Without Trump, without an active Trump feud, Jimmy Kimmel has no real viewership. The problem is, and as I said when I covered this the other day, it's like, I wish Trump wouldn't even acknowledge him because it just gives him material and it gives him, stuff to talk about. It's like, don't acknowledge the troll. Well, now Jimmy Kimmel ramped up a wild insult after Trump's quiet piggy comment. I saw some people saying the reporter's name was Peggy. I don't know if that's actually true or if he said piggy because they're all squealing at him. I don't really know. But this is a new desperate move from Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel lobs vile Trump insult back at president as feud between the pair escalates. I'll go when you go, he says. Jimmy Kimmel used his opening monologue to lob insults at President Trump as their feud reached new heights. Kimmel, 58, spent the first 12 minutes of his show digging in on his arch nemesis, who had previously tried to get him kicked off the air. Now, I don't think Trump is actually earnestly trying to get Kimmel off the air. I don't think he actually, I don't think I think he's like, that's just doing Trump things. But I think this is all about the Epstein stuff coming out. I think he's worried. I think he's worried that, his good friend and his personal chef, was really is worried that he might be connected to something. I would like to welcome our viewers watching from around the country, all you around the world, he said on Thursday's episode. There aren't any. A special hello, to those of you who are watching from the White House. We know you are. Nearly 15 minutes after Kimmel's show ended the previous night, Trump took to Truth Social to write, "Why does ABC fake news Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, still on the air? Get the bum off the air." Now, I'll tell you this, again, there's a lot of, if Trump is talking about this, then people aren't talking about other stuff. People aren't talking about, so he kind of controls the media narrative in a lot of ways. Kimmel says that it was, quote, nice that the Republican watches us live. Well, speaking of watching things live, I would recommend if, you want to watch whatever you want to watch and not let people know, there's a great VPN that has supported the channel for a long time. Here's a quick word from them. Shout out to this video's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, if you aren't using a VPN yet, you're completely missing out, and Private Internet Access is the one I use on all of my devices. If you've been following the news, you see that censorship, websites, apps are getting shut down in certain countries, all sorts of craziness. Well, a VPN helps you never have to worry about that. Private Internet Access also protects you from the prying eyes of hackers, internet service providers, and others that can view your personal data. Perhaps also just as importantly, Private Internet Access allows you to access region-restricted content from all over the world. Streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more have different library options based on where you're located, and some shows simply cannot be accessed if you're not in the target location. Happens to me all the time. Many sports events also have regional blackouts. Well, VPNs can be a convenient way to make sure you're getting the content that you're paying for. Private Internet Access also allows you to protect an unlimited amount of devices all at the same time, so your entire household with a single subscription. And I've been working with Private Internet Access so long that I have an absolutely massive discount available to my viewers. Link in the description below. Get Private Internet Access today using my link. Save huge, protect your computers, access all the content that you've been paying for, and ensure that your internet is... It's also sweet that in the middle of the biggest sex scandal in the history of the American presidency, he takes his precious time on the toilet to post about our show. Again, another lie. This is like the crazy thing with, Kimmel and his alternate reality that he likes to spin, it's because obviously Trump is not ensnared in anything. Trump is not ensnared in, and he's not in the files. Like his email, his name appears in them with Jeffery trying to blackmail him, but he doesn't appear in the files anywhere. Kimmel's referring to, by the way, I want to point out, the only people who have been negatively called out here is a Democrat Harvard professor who goes by the name Larry Summers, a Democrat Congress member, Stacy, whatever her stupid name is, who was live texting with Jeffrey after he was convicted of his first crime, and Democrat Hakeem Jeffries after Jeffrey was convicted, asking him for money. That's 3 Democrats to no Republicans. The president even called a Bloomberg reporter Piggy after she asked him about the files, another moment Kimmel brought up. If I may borrow a phrase from you, quiet Piggy, Kimmel told Trump, he never stops. I have honestly lost count on how many times the president has demanded I be pulled off the air. I mean, talk about a snowflake. The guy, every 5 weeks, he flips out and wants to be fired. Well, I mean, again, I do admit I wish that, Kimmel would just not talk about it, but that's neither here nor there. It's disturbing, and we've done this before. You tried to get me fired in September, even though that's 100% untrue. Sinclair Media and the other 2 different affiliates didn't like his comments about Charlie Kirk, and that's why they pulled him. It had nothing to do with Trump. It had nothing to do with Brendan Carr. But again, Jimmy Kimmel is not interested in the truth. And I really believe he's panicking beyond all like, I bet you he's up late. I bet you he's worried. I bet you he's seriously concerned about what is going to come out in these emails. It didn't work, Mr. President. I admire your tenacity. If you're watching tonight, which I presume you are, how about this? I'll go when you go. Well, actually, Jimmy Kimmel's contract is up in just 4 months. Now, if he gets a renewal, I would be shocked, but there might also be a thing where Kimmel actually takes like a huge pay cut just to stay on air to own Drumpf. Like I could legitimately see that. Like he doesn't want the humiliation of getting fired. He went on to say that Trump was explosively unstable and a disaster. Not even former Vice President Dick Cheney, who's known for being majorly conservative, did not vote for him. Good. I don't want Dick Cheney's vote. Like I don't want Dick Cheney's vote, and I don't want Mike Pence's vote. Cheney's funeral was yesterday. Trump was reportedly not invited, announced in early September that he would be voting for Kamala Harris. Ooh. So in his dying minutes, he decided, hey, I'm going to obsess over Donald Trump. Like, who's winning there? Who's really winning? Trump sends a tweet, and this guy sends his whole show around it. So who's really winning? That's it. You don't need to know anything else. What the garden hose full of diarrhea this president has been, Kimmel said. Again, real classy. He's worried, he's offended that Trump called somebody a piggy, but he's talking about fire hoses of diarrhea. Trump previously had Kimmel's show canceled at the 11th hour. That's not true. But after swift backlash, ABC brought back the much-loved host. That's just not true. Dailymail.co.uk is simply printing a lie. Trump had nothing to do with him being pulled off air. If that were true, he'd be off air 1,000,000 times already. Like that's just the reality of it. He would be off the air all the time. He'd been off the air in 2016 to 2020. Since then, the president has gone on to call for him to be taken off the air and hurling insults at the comedian. I mean, this is the level of critique we get from Jimmy Kimmel.
A few weeks ago, there were reports that the reason Trump wanted to send the National Guard into Portland is because he saw Fox footage of unrest from 2020, and he thought it was happening.
That's not true. We all saw, again, a lie. We all saw what was happening there. We all saw it live, the riots. the rock throwing, the fireworks throwing, the arrests, the journalists getting attacked, the journalists getting arrested. That was all happening in real time.
In real time. And he still might think that's happening in real time. Because in an interview with NBC, he said that when the governor of Oregon informed them there was no security threat in her state, he said, well, wait a minute, am I watching things on television that are different from what's happening? Yes, dum-dum, you are.
No, dum-dum, he wasn't. Like, this is such a vile lie. So, like, I get it, but where's the joke? Like, he's lying about Antifa in Portland. We know that's true. He lied. The Daily Mail is lying about why Jimmy Kimmel's show was pulled off the air. It was not pulled off the air by Trump. It just wasn't. So is this guy, and so he's really not in any position to complain about the president. Now, here he has a 12, look at the 3 million views. You know, it's crazy. More people watched his monologue on YouTube than watch his entire show on TV. You know, I love how aggressive Jimmy Kimmel's being, to be honest. Like, the left thinks this is a good thing, but the truth is he's going to step in it. He's going to make a mistake, and he's going to get socked with another defamation lawsuit, and it's going to be just like 60 Minutes, where the network and Disney just doesn't want any part of it. I think he's totally unhinged because there's going to be something in the Jeffery files that connects Jimmy Kimmel. He's setting it up, I think, so that he can be, well, Trump faked that. I wasn't really in the files. Trump did that, because look how unhinged Trump is. This guy's a clown, and he's spiraling out of control, and you just love to see it.